Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome to 2 Kings chapter 20, in which there are 21 verses. In verse 1, give charge to thy household, versus set thine house in order. Verse 4, a for was added, the word a for, which means not. So this means in the Septuagint, Isaiah was literally in the middle court. In the Masoretic, he was not. Verse 5, ruler versus captain. King Hezekiah is literally the king and ruler of the people of Israel. And he's not a captain, not a commander. He's not being demoted as the Masoretic is making out to be. Verse 7, he said versus Isaiah said. So in the Septuagint, this could be Hashem speaking, because this is Hashem speaking in the previous verse. Continuation of his statement versus Isaiah speaking. However, in the Septuagint, it is open to both. It is open to Hashem or Isaiah being the speaker. He shall be well versus and he recovered. So we can see in verse 8, this contradicts verse 7 in the Masoretic, because Hezekiah is asking, how will I know that Hashem will heal me? How can he ask this if he's already recovered? Verse 9, there's an addition here, an insertion, I should say, which was omitted, but this was widely known at that time since the Septuagint predates the Masoretic by at least 250 years. So this would be the sign that was omitted. Verse 11, of Ahaz was added. Verse 13, Hezekiah rejoiced versus hearkened. It makes more sense for him to be rejoicing and in a good mood. That's why he showed the guests from Babylon all his possessions. Nothing was kept back. However, listening to them doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to that, why he would show them his possessions by listening to them. House of his spices versus house of his precious things. Now, the Hebrew for precious things can also mean treasure. It can also mean spices. Fine oil versus precious ointment. 17, significant difference here. It says here, there shall not fail a word which Hashem has spoken, versus nothing shall be left, says Hashem. So we can see that the clear difference is that not a word shall fail from his statements. Whatever he declares shall be reality. Nothing shall be left relates to the possessions being carried away. It's just common sense, I think. Anyone can do this, in my opinion, what I'm doing right now. Just takes a lot of work. Verse 19, he has spoken versus thou hast spoken. And I want to add, anyone can do this, but you do need the Ruach HaKodesh. You need the guidance of the Parakletos. So that's not just completely unaided. I'm not unaided, I have help. Okay, verse 19. He is referring to Hashem, and Hezekiah is acknowledging Hashem is speaking. The Masoretic, thou hast spoken. So Hezekiah is acknowledging Isaiah has spoken. When truly Isaiah technically is speaking, but Hashem is the one using him as a vessel, as his mouthpiece. Okay, so that is verse 19. And then Hezekiah makes the statement after the pronouncement from Hashem saying all his possessions will be taken away, everything that his fathers have saved up. He says here, only let there be peace in my days. That's all he wants. Versus, is it not good if peace and truth be in my days? So in the Masoretic, Hezekiah is making the wrong assumption that there will be peace and truth in his days. But in the Septuagint, we can see his humble attitude that everything is in the hands of Hashem. And so it would be foolish to just assume that this will be done, because we can see, or he saw anyway, how quickly even the possessions, the great treasures that belong to him, that were in his possession since his forefathers, are now going to be taken away and removed and brought to Babylon. Okay, so that's verse 19. And the last verse, verse 20, and all that he made versus how he made. Okay, so that's all for this chapter. Thank you very much for your time. Till next time, I bid you well. Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum, peace be unto you, and Maranatha.